there lived a young man named Eden. From the moment he took his first breath, life had not been kind to him. He was born into poverty, his parents struggling to make ends meet, and adversity seemed to follow him like a shadow. Eden's childhood was marked by the absence of the simple joys most children took for granted. He watched other kids play with toys and go to school, while he toiled alongside his parents in the fields, helping them out of existence. As he grew older, life didn't relent, it only grew more challenging. But beneath the weight of his hardships, Eden nurtured a flicker of hope. He often found himself gazing at the distant mountains, their summits lost in the clouds. There was a mysterious aura about those peaks in Eden, believed that somewhere amid their rugged beauty, he might discover the answers he sought. He longed for something more than the relentless cycle of suffering that seemed to define his existence one evening, as the sun painted the sky with hues of orange and pink. Eden heard whispers of a wise old monk who resided on a remote mountain, a journey away from his village. This monk, they said, possessed unparalleled wisdom, the kind that could transform the most troubled soul. It was a sign, Eden believed, a sign that his path was about to change without hesitation. He decided to embark on a journey to find this monk. He yearned for answers to the questions that had tormented him for so long. Why did he suffer so much? And was there a way out of this relentless pain? Eden's journey was arduous. He traversed dense forests, crossed treacherous rivers, and climbed steep slopes. After days of relentless effort, he finally reached the foot of the sacred mountain where the wise monk resided there, at the top. The mountain, he found an ancient monastery surrounded by lush gardens and serene ponds. It was a haven of peace and tranquility. As Eden entered the monastery, he was greeted by the soft chanting of monks and the aroma of incense in the main courtyard. He saw an old monk with a serene smile sitting under a bodhi tree. The monk's eyes held the wisdom of centuries, and he seemed to radiate an aura of inner peace. "Welcome, young traveler," the monk said in a gentle voice. "I am Master Kavi. What brings you to this sacred place?" Eden felt a rush of emotions as he shared his story, his pain and his burning desire for answers. Master Kavi listened attentively, nodding occasionally. Master Kavi began to share the teachings of Siddhartha Gautama, who became known as the Buddha. He emphasized Siddhartha's transformation from a life of luxury and privilege to one of enlightenment and compassion, the foundation of Buddha's teachings. Master Kavi explained, lies in the Four Noble Truths. These truths can be a beacon of light to guide you out of suffering. He went on to explain each truth, the truth of suffering. Life is filled with suffering. Eden, birth, sickness, old age, and death are inevitable aspects of human existence, but suffering goes deeper. It's the pain caused by attachment and desire. The truth of the cause of suffering arises from our cravings, our insatiable desires, and our attachments to the impermanent things of the world. The truth of the cessation of suffering. The good news is that suffering can be overcome. Eden, there is a path to its cessation, to lasting peace and happiness. The truth of the path to the cessation of suffering. This path, known as the Noble Eightfold Path, is a guide to living a life free from suffering. It encompasses right understanding, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. As I'd listened to these profound truths, a glimmer of hope ignited within him. He realized that there was a way out of his suffering, just as Siddhartha had found a path to enlightenment after days of learning and meditation under Master Kavi's guidance. Eden began to delve deep into self-reflection. He pondered the suffering in his life, the losses, the regrets, and the relentless pursuit of material wealth. Eden started to see how his attachments and desires have fueled his suffering. He realized that his relentless pursuit of wealth had blinded him to the simple joys of life, and his regrets about the past kept him trapped in a cycle of anguish one evening. As he watched the sunset over the mountains, tears welled up in his eyes. He knew he had to change, to follow the path of the Buddha and to turn his pain into power. With newfound determination, Eden decided to follow the Noble Eightfold Path, the path to the cessation of suffering. He began to practice mindfulness, meditate daily, and cultivate compassion for himself and others. His journey was not without its challenges. Doubts and distractions often plagued him, and the allure of his old desires occasionally pulled him back. Yet with the guidance of Master Kavi, he pressed on as the days turned into weeks and months. Eden noticed subtle changes within himself. He felt lighter, As though a heavy burden had been lifted from his shoulders, the more he let go of his attachments and cravings, the more at peace he became. However, the path to transformation was not without its trials. Eden faced numerous challenges that tested his newfound resolve. There were moments of doubt, times when he questioned whether he had the strength to overcome his suffering. Once a severe illness struck him, leaving him bedridden for weeks. During this time he battled not only the physical pain, but also the emotional suffering that had resurfaced. Yet through the practice of mindfulness and the teachings of Master Kavi, he found the inner strength to endure. There were also moments when old acquaintances from his village, still trapped in their cycle of suffering, marked his new way of life. They couldn't understand why he had chosen such a challenging path when material riches seemed so much easier to attain. But Eden knew that the true wealth he sought was not found in material possessions. It was the wealth of inner peace, compassion, and enlightenment. As the years passed, Eden's commitment to the path deepened, and he began to experience moments of profound insight and enlightenment. In these moments, he glimpsed the interconnectedness of all beings and the impermanence of all things. During one such meditation of this illusion, he found a newfound freedom and empowerment. Eden's moments of enlightenment were like rays of sunlight piercing through dark clouds. With each insight, he felt more connected to the world around him, and his suffering diminished further. He began to radiate a sense of inner peace and contentment that drew others toward him. Master Kavi, observing Eden's transformation, smiled knowingly. "You see, Eden," he said, "true wisdom lies not in the accumulation of knowledge, but in the realization of your own nature. You are discovering your true self, and in doing so, you are telling your pain into power." Eden nodded in understanding. He had come to grasp that his suffering had been a teacher, a catalyst for his spiritual growth. It had pushed him to seek answers, and in that quest, he had found the keys to unlock his own potential with his newfound wisdom and inner strength. Eden made a decision he would return to his village and share the teachings he had learned it from Master Kavi. He wanted to help others turn their pain into power, just as he had done. As he journeyed back to his village, Eden encountered familiar faces, friends, and family members who had witnessed his struggles. They were astonished by the transformation in him. His presence radiated a sense of peace and serenity that was contagious. Eden began to teach the principles of Buddhism to those who were willing to listen, explained the Four Noble Truths and the Noble Eightfold Path, and he encouraged others to embark on their own journeys of self-discovery. He told them that suffering was a universal human experience, but it was possible to transcend it through understanding, mindfulness, and compassion. Eden shared stories from his own life, showing how he had turned his pain into power and inspired others to do the same. Years passed, and Eden's impact on his community was profound. Many villagers had followed his teachings and found solace and purpose in their lives. Eden's village, once marked by poverty and despair, began to thrive, not in material wealth but in the wealth of human connection, kindness, and inner peace. Eden himself had become a beacon of hope. He continued to live a simple life, tending to the fields and gardens, meditating daily under the Bodhi tree, and sharing his wisdom with all who sought it. He had turned his pain into power, and had in turn empowered those around him in his old age as he watched the sun set behind the mountains. Eden reflected on his journey. He had gone from a life of profound suffering to one of profound purpose. He had learned that pain could be a catalyst for growth and transformation, and that true power lay in understanding oneself and the nature of the world. Master Kavi had passed away, but his teachings lived on through Eden and the generations of villagers who had embraced the path of enlightenment. His life had become a testament to the enduring wisdom of Buddha, and so the story of Eden, the young man who turned his pain into power, became a legend in his village, and beyond it served as a reminder that no matter how deep the suffering, it was always a path to liberation, a path to enlightenment, and a path to turning one's pain into power.